we're going to go over how to add a state proposition or a county proposition or a town proposition, otherwise known as a question. And that's the terminology you're going to see used most across these next couple of screens. So here we go. Now, as opposed to the actual race with individuals running for an office, there are campaigns and they're technically candidates for a question and proposition, but they're the exact same every single time. It's for proposition against proposition. So because of that, it would be really tedious to have to go through and create a new campaign object and attach it to the for candidate and then the against candidate and build it all out like that. So we've done a nice little convenience method here, which basically means all you have to do is go into one screen, create the question, and then move to another screen and set its election date. So if we go to the Office Questions menu right here, and you'll notice at the very top is State Representative District 115, which we created in the last couple of tutorials. And that just sits in line with the rest of them. The races and questions in the system are technically considered the same because they are the thing that the race is asking a question about. Do you want to elect this person? Do you want to pass this proposition? So they're all technically the same thing in the system, just the terminology has changed and the way we decide the winner changes. All right, so we're going to hit Add Office/Questions. All right, display name. Now, in the questions, there's a lot of quirks about how we want things displayed. So much like with the Office, we're going to fill in all of these things, and it's going to create a value here for us, but oftentimes we get asked to change that value. So that's why in this menu, and I'm going to go back really fast, in this menu you can do really quick changes to the names of these races. A lot of times proposition names are very long, and so they run over in print and we have to have them changed. Really not a big deal. And I'm going to go over editing and deleting and that kind of stuff a little bit later, as well as introduce maybe one or two potential new workflows for adding in this information. But right now, we're back to the Office. So we're here in the screen. We click through in our Office Questions table to add a new office, and that's where we are. Display name, we're going to leave that alone. Position, there's only one position it can be, which is question. It's going to be at the very bottom right here. Okay. Grouping, and this is where you're going to have a couple of options, and you'll know based on what the ballot says if it's a county, city, town, school district, or state question. I have never seen a federal question pop up, so I think that's only for like constitutional amendments. So right here we have, I don't even think it's for constitutional amendments. I got to take a civics lesson. So right here we have federal, state, all those. This will be the most common one is going to be city, county, and school district. During the big election cycles, you see a bunch of state questions pop up. But let's just go with something that requires us to fill everything in. So let's do school district. All right. School district will always receive the school bond check. And those are the only ones. And school bonds are special because they require a certain percentage in order to win. If they don't get 60% or more of the vote, then they don't clear and they technically fail. So what this does is it lets the system know that that's the type of thing we're dealing with. Otherwise, you can just leave it empty. And then city, town, or school district, let's just say, I'm trying to think of Mulholland, I think, is the name of a school district. And this occasionally will be the name of the town. It will occasionally be the name of a specific district. This will all be on the ballot, so you'll get that information from here. I don't know what county Mulholland is in, so I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to say it's Carter, which is probably wrong. All right, so the description is the question text. Just enter it in from what's on the ballot. You can shorten it if you want. You can make additions and changes to it, but this will just say it's typically in this format. 1 million for bond securing equipment and facilities repair. They're almost all stated in that kind of general way. Some of them get a little bit more complex in what they're asking, but if it's a school bond, usually they're just looking for money. So it's going to state it like that. The state questions get more complex because they end up asking like very pointed social questions and that kind of thing. All right, let's say that we're going to be doing two. That we know that the Mulholland School District has two propositions that are coming our way. So the value for A would be 1 because that's the very first, that's what that is. This is the first one we've put in. And so I'm going to hit save and continue editing. And now as you see, Mulholland Public Schools, Proposition 1 with the little asterisk right there, and that's what people are going to see. The asterisk means that it's a school bond, and there will be a little note on our screens, both in print and online, explaining that to the reader. One of the things I skipped over was schools district subdivision letter. You'll see that in Oklahoma City or areas with a lot of school districts, kind of Norman Public Schools R1, that kind of thing. If you have that, you'd put that right here. I haven't seen those in a while, and it's really up to you whether or not you want to use them at all. Okay, so that is that's the office. Now, what it's done for us, and I'm going to jump back, is it has created 2 campaigns against proposition, for proposition, Mulholland Public Schools, general race. Questions are only general. There's no other kind of no other type of race that a question or proposition can be a part of. And so it's created those for us. It's gone in and it's created, let's go to our race masters, race meta. It's created our race right here, Mulholland Public Schools. Now, as I said, these are going to attach to the last election that was entered. And so they're usually about one off. So you're going to want to go in to this screen, which is just our typical race screen. And you're going to want to change that to 7913 or whatever election you're working on. Scroll all the way to the bottom like that and hit save. I think there we go. Click through, take a look at this guy. All right. And that is how you add a question. Now I'm going to pop over and create one more for the Mulholland Schools so I can just show you what it looks like with the proposition number sequences. If you followed me quickly, I started off in this elections news screen. I hit office and questions, and then I hit add office/question. Display name will autofill. We want to move on to question. I just hit Q, and it brought up the first word that started with the Q. You can, on any drop down, you could start typing in the word, and it will pop up that option if it's available. You have to be a little careful because if you misspell, a lot of times you have to scroll all the way back up to the top and start typing again. Grouping is it was school, so again I started typing SCH. School bond, town or district was Mulholland, pick that one. County, I think we said it was Carter. This is the second one, and then I put in a value for A, which is proposition 2 right here. And I went through that pretty quickly because I'm hoping you're beginning to pick up on sort of just how easy it is to put together, and once you get it down, it's just tab, 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 tab. So that's done. We'll hit save. Takes us back to this screen. I want to hit elections new. Take me back to this screen, and then I want to go into my races. And then I'm going to pick that. Pick the race that I want, or pick the election I want, and then I'm going to hit save. And that's how you do questions. Really fast, really, really simple. And really, now we've dealt with all the election types we're going to be able to deal with. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to explain how to go in, edit something like the display name, or how to edit individual objects, things like that. And then show a couple of different workflows for editing and adding content, and then move on to the data entry side, which is what the reporters typically see.